Hello everyone, Shadefire here, and today I am taking a first impressions look at the early access game, Man of War Corsair. If you're not familiar with what Man of War is, this was actually a Warhammer Fantasy spin-off back in the 90s that was focused on naval combat in the Warhammer universe. And like most of the Warhammer spin-offs, it got cancelled a long time ago, later had rules reintroduced in White Dwarf, and now they're making a video game based off it, because that seems to be a popular thing recently with Games Workshop, reviving a lot of dead properties by making video games out of them. Stuff like Space Hulk and Battlefield Gothic. So, this game, I've played a bit of it. It is definitely early access. It's one of those things where you want to say it's promising, but it's such a pointless thing these days to say promising about an early access game, because most of them won't ever deliver on that promise. The developers will give up on them and just push them out as full release, or just completely abandon them and never be heard from again, like a certain dinosaur game. But this one seems, again, promising so far. There's definitely a lack of content, though. Like, for example, music. Aside from that title screen music and combat music, there's no music in this game. It's pretty quiet most of the time. So here we are, docked just outside of a port. This is my ship. This is the ship you start with. It is a brigand, I believe. No, a Corsair, sorry. A Bretonnian ship. Right now, this seems like the only ship you can start with. On the captain creation screen, there is kind of a option to pick various factions, but they're all disabled right now because early access. There's a lot of things in this game that just say, not in here yet because early access. Like, eventually you'll be able to make fleets, but right now you can only have your one ship. You can buy new ships to replace this ship, but you can't have, like, AI ships following you. This is my captain, Captain Ashheart Lex. Oh, please don't crash the ship. Oh, okay, he auto-docked us. So yeah, your first mate will take over when you jump off the controls. And you'll sort of follow this auto path you can make. So please stop doing that. Good job. This is why I don't let you control the ship. Alright, so let's get out to sea. No. Undock. I will say right off the bat, this is not a very visually appealing game, but, you know, neither is something like Mountain Blade. Mountain Blade is definitely not appealing for its graphics. So if you look at the bottom right, you can see that pie graph kind of thing with the 26 knots under it. That's essentially the wind direction. Sailing into the green is sailing with the wind, so that you'll go faster. Orange is slightly towards the wind, and red is directly towards the wind, and you'll go really slow. So, you kind of have to do some legitimate sailing here of tacking, where you sort of go in a 90-degree sort of angle to where you're trying to go. You know, you go with the wind and then turn into it, and then turn again, and then turn, to try to keep yourself mostly with the wind. And that wind does change kind of all the time. So right now, I'm in a bit of a natural covey sort of area, so we want to get out of here if we're going to actually see anything. Probably want to stay away from the Dragon's Maw, though. That looks like a death zone. Though beaching your ship doesn't actually have any real repercussions in this. It just takes a second for you to push off again. But yeah, this is a game about naval stuff. You know, where you're traveling around. You can buy goods and sell them like your typical one of these games. We can also got one of these naval combat things that have become kind of popular since this Assassin's Creed 3. I say that because I've seen multiple games with this sort of system. Basically, we have our port guns and we have our starboard guns. You can upgrade them or, you know, add more of them. I believe I just upgraded these to a heavier cannon type, so they do more damage now. Obviously, different ships will have different gun arrangements. Some ships have guns on the front, which are really annoying to get away from.
Clear up the deck!
So there's not much going on in a lot of the ocean, and I think that's definitely a early access thing with this game. There's a lot of times where you just won't see anything. We got our spyglass here. We can kind of look around. You can use this to spot ships and see if they have any cargo. In fact, there's one right there. And you can see their faction. That's a Bretonnian ship, so we don't really want to piss them off because I'm cool with the Bretonnians right now. Bretonnians are sort of a weird thing because their land army is basically like,
Lay off the rum!
you know, feudal knights and all sorts of,
Not for all the gold in Arabic!
you know, mystical stuff, Lady of the Lake and all that. But then their ships are more advanced than the Empire, who's all guns and stuff on land. Alright, so we can also speed this up. There is a time skip, which you're going to use a lot in this game. I actually wish it went up higher than just 4 times. What's that over there? Oh, that's a sunken ship. We can search that for treasure. So far I've found that searching sunken wrecks is actually a better source of treasure than doing missions. So we can get up close here. Oh yeah, and you can furl your sails to slow down. This is pretty shallow. Alright, so let's pull up the options, go search.
We've run aground, Captain!
Search again, just in case. Yep, nothing there. So yeah, when you run aground, you just hit spacebar and you slowly push off. Obviously that would be bad in combat, but otherwise it's like just an inconvenience. Like we're gonna hit this again, maybe? It would be nice to have a sounding guy, you know, the guy with the pole that pokes the ground to see how deep it is. Because sounding did actually mean something before sticking a rod in your dick. So nothing in here. That's a shame.
Swab the deck!
Alright, let's try to get out to sea and see if we can get in some combat here. Or get attacked by a sea monster. I believe there's at least 2 species of sea monster in here, one of which shows up in the tutorial, a megalodon. But there's also something called a behemoth, and I don't know if that's actually in the game yet or not. It's funny, this game even comes with like a very much Warhammer sourcebook looking digital manual, and a lot of the things in that manual are like, this is the thing that will be in the game, but is not currently. You know, like flyers, allies. I could have a sharpshooter, but mine died. I actually got in one battle
We
where
need more cordage!
everybody on my ship died except the captain. She was the last one left gunning down Chaos guys, and I had to hire a all new crew. Alright, so what do we got going on here? You can kind of see zones of activity. I don't know what these ones are. These might be sea monsters, actually. I haven't seen anyone with that faction label yet. Well, let's head through the Dragon's Teeth and do it at full speed.
Back to work, you lazy dog!
Let's test fire these new cannons, see if they sound more powerful. Not really. And of course, after you fire, you gotta wait for your guys to reload your guns. One thing that's weird is that when your ship takes damage, you never seem to lose crew. You can see I have a crew counter at the bottom left. The only time I've lost crew is when I've been boarded by another ship, or tried to board another ship. I've sunk with, you know, maximum damage, and 0 crew lost. Well, this
Get off
guy's
those ropes!
in some trouble. Oh, that was the guy I saved earlier. I could probably sink him now and steal his treasure, but, again, that would reduce my faction credit. Somehow, in the middle of the ocean where no one else is around, you will get word back that we sunk him. Now when you are at full time speed, you do still have to pay attention to the wind because it will change, obviously. Though, if you set a course on the map, your ship will just kind of auto-follow it until you move out of the way. Alright, so there'd be something out here. There's a ship over there. There's another Breton ship. It does seem like there's a decent number of factions in this already.
Clean the barking iron!
Bretons, Nords, Empire, Orcs, Chaos. I believe there is. Oh, even it's also just pirates. I think there's dark elves here somewhere, or high elves, or dwarves. You know, I haven't been down to this whole area. You kind of start way up here at the top, between the Empire and Nordheim, and then I've sort of traveled along the coast here. So, this circle means there's some sort of fleet here. Though, again, I don't know what this blue faction is. It might be Sea Monster.
Hurry up, you codger! Very good, sir.
I'm kind of hoping it is, because, again, I haven't seen any... Oh, we're under attack.
Bring up your small arm!
We're attacked by something. Behemoth. I mean, it's called a behemoth, it shouldn't be that hard to find. Oh, it's a giant narwhal. So you use your mouse to pull your cannon range in and out. Oh boy. That didn't do that much damage. But yeah, you actually have to change the ranging on your shots. I think I hit it. It looks like it took a little bit of tail damage.
They're coming about!
The Megalodon was easier to fight because it actually like jumps up and bites your ship, and then you can shoot it in the face. Alright. We are going into the wind, so we want to turn here. Arr, white whale, white whale.
We're by the wind!
I don't think we're going to get quite Ahab levels of desperate here. This thing doesn't seem too tough. Also pretty slow for a giant whale. Shit, I turned back into the wind. I'm not really paying attention to the wind counter.
You're sailing into the wind, Captain!
Yeah, a little too late to tell me. There she comes.
Whoa! Damn fine gunnery!
Oh boy. Yeah, surprisingly not that dangerous for a giant sea monster.
We're by the wind, Captain!
Eat it, whale. Obviously your ship is not the most agile thing, so it does take a long time to turn around. And this is one of the faster ships, so I imagine that's worse with a big one. You can also speed up combat to 2 times speed, but it's really hard to do anything at that speed. That's usually what you do when you're trying to run away.
Fire!
It almost seems kind of cruel dumping cannons into a whale.
This way!
Come on, beastie.
Quarter!
I'm not sure if there's any actual benefit to killing sea monsters, though.
We're by the wind!
Because the Megalodon didn't give me anything for killing it. No gold, no, you know, meat. Level up. I don't know what leveled up. I'm pretty sure you can't level up. Oh, this one has treasure. Can I sell that horn? +1 behemoth horn, +8 food.
Move those casks!
Alright, so you do actually get something for killing those. And we barely took any damage there. So yeah, I guess these blue ones are all just sea monsters. I feel like it maybe defeats the point, though, if it just tells you where they are. Can I fight that thing? Alright, well, I guess we'll just kind of head out into sea and see if something happens. So I'm getting close to a port here. Gonna head in and see if I can find us a job. This game could really use some of the Assassin's Creed type sea shanties to liven up the long hours of sailing, because you will spend a lot of time kind of doing nothing. Much like other similar games like, oh geez, what was it called? I was gonna say Elite? Yeah, Elite Dangerous. You know, other kind of space travel and trading kind of games. Or just travel and trading. Not always in space. Though, more of them are than aren't, I think, these days. Sadly, I don't really know a lot of sea shanties of my own, or I'd contribute here. How's that one go? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Shave his belly with a rusty razor. Shave his belly with a rusty razor. Shave his belly with a rusty razor. Early in the morning. Way hey and up she rises. Way hey and up she rises. Way hey and up she rises. Early in the morning. That's pretty much the only line I remember. Next one's about a longboat, but I can't remember exactly how it goes. And I have the what do you do with a drunken whaler one kind of mixed up from Dishonored. Should be just coming up on the port now. You can see it over there. Every port has a couple of random missions. Some of them have slightly more involved missions, but I wouldn't call anything really a story mission just yet. Also, I was going to say that the level up thing didn't make sense, but if you go to Captain here and go to Captain Detail, you can see that we do actually have a level that seems to just increase our health. But eventually there will be Captain Skills. Here's that early access game thing. If you go to inventory, you can see I've bought a couple of guns. You start off with the handgun. It's not great. Blunderbuss is like a shotgun. I've replaced it with the repeater handgun. Also, I guess there's treasure maps. I wasn't sure how to use these. I didn't realize that they showed up in the inventory. But yeah. So somewhere near Irongrad is this giant skull, and next to that is a treasure. And people will randomly offer you these in town. They'll be like, hey, you want to buy this treasure map? It's totally legit. Should be able to scoot in between here. I'd like to get into one actual naval battle with another ship in this. Because, I mean, that seems to be the most fleshed out part of this game so far. Man, not much of a port here.
Clear the decks!
Oh, town is overrun with plague. Well, shit. There is orcs over here. Let's see if I can make it to Nez, I guess? Might run into some of these greenskins. Which should be fine as long as they don't have one of their big ships that has like a grappling claw and a grinder and shit on the front.
Ship
Because the last one of those I ran into kicked my ass. You know, we got Bretonnian ships here. Maybe they'll help us out.
Strike the bell! Here we go, lads!
We got a big chukka and 2 drilla killers.
We're by the wind, boys!
So I should be able to handle these guys. The big chukka is going to be a little tough, but I got these big guns now. Get the ranging just right.
We have the weather gate.
Missed. So unlike most ships, the orcs don't have cannons, they just have a big rock thrower, hence the name Big Chukka.
Press the muzzle!
Or the drilla killers, which have a big drill on the front, and will just try to ram you. Oh, got some hits there. Incoming rock. It's pretty hard to dodge shots. I mean, with these guys you can kind of get it so that it goes past your sail. Oh shit. I hit the wind. I think I'm going to want to go past these guys instead of straight through them. Oh shit. Drill incoming. So this guy is, I think, supporting us. This Empire ship. This big chukka is actually pretty slim. Hard to hit from the front. You can also switch, you know, between firing both cannons if you're engaging on both sides of your ship. And if you really want to line up your shot, you can actually slow down to 0.5 speed, or 0.2, or 0. So it's not like the combat is too hectic if you don't want it to be. Like, it's pretty simple, but I don't know, I've been having fun with it. Though, having never played Assassin's Creed 3, 4, or Rogue, I don't actually know how the naval combat in that compares to this. Though I have seen the naval combat in Raven's Cry, and that seems similar, but also worse.
We're by the wind, boys!
Now they have a crew of 10. I could probably just roll up on them and board them.
The steersman is a fool! Tries to ram us!
It looks like these ships are maybe helping us. I can't tell. They're just kind of around. One thing about these orc ships is that they're not affected by the wind, because obviously they have this big flywheel. Well, we could take him down. He's still going. But just barely. But if we select them, you can see that they still have full 8 crew. Oh, they have cargo. Maybe I should board them. If you destroy a ship, you only get a chance at some of their cargo. But if you board them, you can take it all. So you just roll up next to them. Oh, I think they sank. What about this guy? He doesn't have very much cargo. He's not worth boarding. Oh. Just plowed into that other ship and exploded.
We're by the wind!
That solves my problem. Now I just have to get up on that other guy, finish him off. And a lot of times you will get a mission like this. You can see at the top right it's become a mission to destroy these orcs. And then if you go to the nearby city, they'll pay you for it.
Run out the starboard battery! You're sailing into the wind, Captain!
Let's give him a little welcome before we board him.
We have the weather gate, Captain!
Oh, he did lose a crew member there. I guess it's very rare. Maybe you have to actually directly hit them with the cannons. just want to get into a boarding engagement to show it off.
We're by the wind, boys!
You can see there's that loot from the other ship I sunk.
Damnation seize your soul!
And once you go into this, you can only control the captain or the sharpshooter if you have one, which will be up in that crow's nest. And basically you just have to blast the enemy crew until there's none of them left. This part is not very good, but, you know, it's passable. Got 6 shots, then I gotta reload. And I think I hit transfer all that were there when I was clicking. Because I definitely didn't have any spices before. So we didn't take much damage there, which is good. And let's just go grab these 2 pieces of loot. It says we're still in combat, but I don't know with what.
We're by the wind,
Rum and gems. I don't know who would be trying to attack us now. Killed all the orcs. Didn't accidentally hit any of the Bretonians, because if you do that, they will come after you kind of forever. I've had a almost completely destroyed ship that I was supposed to be saving chase me like halfway across the ocean because I accidentally hit them with a cannonball when I was trying to cover them.
We're by the wind, Captain!
The AI in this are definitely not very good for ships. I've seen like 3 ships next to each other plowing repeatedly into the shore, backing off and then plowing into it again. But yeah, there's a lot of complexity that it sounds like they're going to put in. You know, allied ships, flying units, wizards that you can have on your ship. Specialist skills. Being able to work for different factions would be neat. Because it seems like you can't get anything except a basic sailing ship in this game. There's different kinds of them. You know, you can get big galleons and stuff like that, but they're all still sailing ships. You can't get any like the Dwarven ironclads, I don't think. Or the orc ships. So if you could pick other factions, that would be neat. Alright, let's pull in the dock here, sell our shit, and repair. And then I think we'll be good. There's not too much more to show off yet. I was going to get a mission, but that was just to show off the naval combat.
Back to work, you lazy
This port of like 3 buildings. Alright, so if we go to the tavern, you'll usually either get like the offer of a mission, or you'll get one of these like, hey, there's a guy who wants work, but of course early access, not actually in there. Or they'll tell you just about like, hey, I heard this place is pretty low on this thing, so you should buy it and sell it there. Notice board is where you get missions. Market is where you sell your goods. You can see kind of the average price of stuff. Spices look like they're going for pretty good here, so we'll sell our 5 spices. You can see I don't have a lot of gold because my cannons cost me 30,000, which is the most I've had so far. They have a lot of food, but they produce a lot of food. So if you see local production, it means it's something that the town produces, and thus it's probably not going to have a good price. But timber looks like it has a decent price here. And coal. I don't have 10 coal, I thought I did. Do I want to sell my timber? I feel like I can get more for it, but I don't also think it's a lot more. Timber is not a super valuable resource. Sell that. Textiles. We could sell our textiles, but they do produce a little bit, so probably get a better price somewhere else. Rum. Gems. Gems are always worth a lot, so it's hard to tell if it's a good price. Tin has local demand, so it's worth more. But only up until you fulfill that local demand, and then it goes back down. Yeah, and I do have this behemoth horn that I can sell for a pretty good amount. I don't know if that would ever go up in price. Also, that doesn't normally show up. I guess that's stuff that only shows up if you are doing, or have one rather. If you go to the docks, The warehouse is where we could kind of switch ships, but we don't have any ships, except the Tuatha De Danann. You can buy new ships. Obviously, the different ships you can buy are available at certain places. Since we're in Bretonia, these are all Bretonian ships. And there are some things you can only buy at a shipyard. When you select it on a map, it'll tell you whether it's a dock or a shipyard. Like if you go to refit here. So, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of upgrades right now, because this is all of them. You can see I bought the heavy cannons. But presumably that'll change. And I don't know if these are dependent on what kind of ship you have. Like, if I had a different ship, would I have different upgrades available? Or that's really all there is right now. But you can see most of them require a shipyard. I would like to get a streamlined hull to speed up my ship. And let's see. Also, if you look at purchase ship, you can see that they're pretty expensive. Like, the Corsair is the ship we started with, and that's worth 100,000. Which is surprising. Usually, these kind of games start you with the worst possible ship you could have. Like a little shuttlecraft or something. Alright, we can also buy firearms for both our captain and our sharpshooter. We don't have a sharpshooter right now, but if we go to recruit crew, we could buy one for 5,000. I don't actually know how my last one died, considering that most other ships don't have guns. Oh, we lost a crew member too, so we'll hire one of those. Crew members don't seem to actually differ at all. Like, you can't get, hey, these crew are more expensive, but they're worth more in a fight. And I think that's about all we can do, really. Yeah, because if, like, we go to notice board, you'd be like, oh, let's rescue a mission. Rescue a person for a mission, rather. A ransom mission? That doesn't sound very exciting. And these missions are just like, oh, defend a merchant. This guy here. Which, again, not... Oh, I forgot to repair my ship, didn't I? Whoops. That's fine. We're pretty much done here. But yeah, this... I don't know. I was kind of skeptical at first. I was like, man, this game's kind of ugly. And doesn't run great. But then I started playing it, and, you know, 3 hours passed, and I was like, oh, I'm still playing this. Weird. It's just kind of fun, you know? Kind of relaxing, just be sailing, though you might want to be listening to a podcast or something while you play this. And, it's just kind of fun to upgrade your ship, travel from port to port. The sea combat is decent, though obviously it could use some improvement. But this just came out in early access. You can see it's only version 0.2, so they've got a ways to go before this is, you know, complete. And I'll be curious to check back in on this as it gets some updates and, you know, maybe do some what's up, but update videos on it. But yeah, that's Man of War Corsair. It's about $30 right now, early access. I'd say maybe if you're interested, give it a couple months before you jump into this, because again, you've pretty much seen the extent of what there is to do with this game. You can fight sea monsters, you can fight ships, you can go to ports, you can sell stuff, you can buy stuff. You can do some basic missions, and that's about it. I had one mission I took where I took on a bunch of passengers that turned out to be zombies. Like, they turned into zombies in the hold and burst out onto the deck. So that was kind of neat. But I haven't seen a lot of other stuff like that.
We need more coordinates.
Oh, that's a ghost tower. Anyhow, yeah, Man of War Corsair, decent. Give it some time. I've been Shadefire, and I'll see you all again next time. Hopefully you'll come sailing with me again, once again. Again, again, again. Keep saying again. How many times can you fit again in one sentence? Alright. Take it easy, folks.